Hello, friends. Hello, hello. Okay, it is 8 o'clock. I am going to give it just a couple of minutes, let people filter in like we usually do with lives like this. This being our first one here in Her Success is Your Success. I want to give people a little bit of time. I know there was a little bit of confusion on time zones and travel and so forth. So we'll just wait a minute. So as you pop on, say hello. Tell me where you're watching from. I am so excited. And I just want to say, if you're joining here, you do not, you don't need to be a part of Scentsy. You can be a part of any company. You could be of any entrepreneurial landscape whatsoever. You could just be a regular individual that doesn't have a multi-level marketing background who's just looking for a little bit of inspo. Hey. So welcome. Like I said, being the first night, we're just gonna, we're gonna give a little grace. I'm so excited, so excited to be here. So hopefully you guys have something to drink. I have coffee because, like always, I have to have coffee. And I also have water because when I talk a lot, sometimes, I just need a little bit of water. Hello. As we get started, I'm gonna try not to read the comments so much. I'll probably leave a little bit of time at the end to kind of talk if you guys have questions. But other than that, I'm just going to try to deliver what I plan on talking about. A little fun fact, as we are a little bit past the top of the hour now, I actually had another topic altogether, okay? Another topic altogether tonight that I was going to talk to you guys about that I had been planning for a couple of weeks. And then the last minute, maybe not the last minute, but earlier today, I changed my topic, and it was actually somebody that follows the page and their comment on the page that made me change the topic altogether. And so this is going to be very raw. It's going to be from my heart. I'm choosing to sit here at the table because I think it's super important to build a table of those that you want around you. And that's exactly what we're doing. That's what we're going to do with this platform. And that is what we're going to do tonight, is we're going to sit together at the table and we're just going to have a little bit of coffee talk. So for those that you don't know me, my name is Johanna Luna, and I am a top producing leader in a multi-level marketing company. So I'm in a direct sales company. And as I mentioned before, this will not be completely dedicated to that company at all. There's lots of training out there for that company, but this will be more of like a, hey girl, let's sit around the table and figure out this thing together. Let's figure out life, and let's figure out all of the things that are stacked up against us. A little bit about me as it relates to tonight's topic. So for those of you that don't know me, don't know my full story, my background, my upbringing was pretty dark, to be honest. And I'm going to share some things that I've shared before and some things that I've never shared before to give you some background as to where we're going. So my biological mom was someone who suffered from a great deal of mental illness. Not just one mental illness, but a few. She was schizophrenic. She had bipolar disorder. She made a lot of really bad life choices. And so in my eyes as her daughter, I was always kind of looking at life through this lens of trying to figure out what came first, the chicken or the egg. Was it the bad life choices and drug use that caused some of these problems, or was it the mental illness that caused the bad choices to be taken? But regardless of what caused what, it was really hard for me growing up to understand what was happening in my life. And so from an early age, I think that I was in this place of fight or flight. That's how I grew up. And that is what my, you talk about nature versus nurture, right? That's where I was, fight or flight. And it was making life decisions on how to survive at a very, very young age. And there were horrible things and situations that I was put in at a very young we grew up, my sister and we grew up in an area that was not, a pretty scary area to grow up in, to raise children in, for sure. A little bit west of the city of Chicago, so definitely not somewhere that, you'd want to be today, for sure. And my mother left us in a lot of really bad situations, including one night when she left my sister and I alone in a car as she walked herself somewhere, and we were found by police and taken to a hospital so that my uncle could come and pick us up and take care of us. And that's kind of how my life went when I was growing up. I was in between my aunt and uncle's house and my mother's house often, and every time my mom would have a breakdown and end up in a hospital, that's what I would do. At the time when all that was going on, they lived pretty close. They were in neighboring towns. So there was a little disruption to my daily life as it pertained to school and such. I was still able to go to those places. But at a certain point, that changed in my life. And when that changed in my life and my aunt and uncle moved further away, about an hour away, it was right before that happened that there was a call placed and the Department of Children and Family Services got involved. I was almost 9 years old. And at that point, we were taken away from my mom and put in the care of my aunt and uncle for the point of guardianship, while the state kind of figured out what was going on and if it was in our best interest to be with my mom. I share all of that because during that entire time, from the age of 2 years old to the time I was 9, I was back and forth, but it was never legally back and forth. It was just kind of somebody stepping in and helping out. And then from the time I was 9 to 15, I was in the court system. So from the time I was 2 to the time I was 15, I didn't have a permanent home. I was back and forth a lot, and it was really disruptive to my mental health and all of those wounds and scars and traumas that we don't even realize are happening at those tender ages. And I learned, without even knowing that I was learning, to distrust people and to distrust when somebody says that they're going to take care of me or they're going to look out for me. I didn't know what true support was. While my aunt and uncle tried to do the best that they could, I'm going to be honest, it very often felt like I was disrupting their lives. Either things that were, said in passing, not meaning it, but those traumas, they stay with you. And that's my story, and that's my experience. And no one gets to tell me that it was different. So often when we're going through things in our life, people will tell you it's different because they are telling you their version of the truth. That does not mean that their version of the truth isn't happening for them, but it certainly wasn't happening that way for me. So fast forward, I go through high school and then go to college. I dropped out of college. I did not finish. And part of the reason why I didn't finish was because of lack of support. And I don't know if it was because the support really wasn't there, but it really did not feel like it was at the time. Okay? So there was always this setup for, I've got to do this on my own. So how is this relevant to me as an adult? How is this fight or flight reaction, this trauma response reaction, very much a part of what I'm doing today? Okay, so I'm going to tell you that today I have the support of a loving husband. But when I first started my journey with this direct sales company, I did not have that support. When I started with Scentsy, I did not have the support of my husband. He thought it was just this kooky thing, kind of thought, like a lot of people do, that it was a scam. He didn't understand it. My husband's support today, my husband and my children are the only support I care about. The only support I care about. Anybody else, their words don't stay with me long. It's not that I don't hear them. It's not that they don't stay with me for a part of the time, but they don't stay with me long. And I'm going to explain that in a minute because it's really important when you're trying to put together the pieces of who to build your table with, who to put at your table, that less is more. Sometimes less is more. And that sounds counterintuitive to a business like ours where you are trying to build up contacts. But I'm going to tell you guys that the support you expect to happen is not the support that is going to build your empire. Let me repeat that. The support that you expect to happen the day you take a leap of faith in whatever that is not the support that's going to help you build your empire. Point blank, period, it's not. And we'll get into that a little bit in a minute. But I can tell you that I know how detrimental it can be. It can be if you allow the lack of support, the misconception of support to impact you chasing your dreams, you going after your goals. Because what I'm going to tell you right now is something I want you to stick with. If you hear nothing else tonight, I want you to hear this. If you feel like you don't have support, then you should ever the more feel that you have nothing to lose. You have no one to worry about. You have nothing to lose. I don't even want to tell you to go out there and prove them wrong. I don't. I want you to sit here and do for you. If you are like me in your life or even in your business where you are fight or flight right now, you are going all in or not at all. What just happened to my light? Lord, good Lord. We don't got lashes right now. Look, we need all the help we can get, so that light needs to stay on. If you are like me and you are feeling like you don't have support, no, that's not what I'm saying I'm in now, but if you feel like you were at any point that I've had in my life where you felt like you were doing this alone, then you're doing it alone. And that's okay. Then you build your empire for you. You need to worry about why it is that you're doing it. It's like anything in life, right? If it's like losing weight or any other thing that you do in your life, if you're doing it for somebody else other than your children, we just gonna not have light tonight. Lord have mercy, we just not gonna have light tonight. So y'all just get to look at this. If you are in your life right now and you are doing this for anybody but yourself and your children, those mouths that you need to feed, those that you need to support, those that count on you for that, you're doing it all wrong. And you're never going to do for other people as much as you would do for yourself. And I know that that sounds counterintuitive to everything that we're ever taught, because I'm going to tell you, 90% of the people that are going to watch this are going to be women. And for women especially, we do for others all the time. We do and we do and we do and we do and we do until we are dead tired and we don't have anything left to stand for ourselves. And in this type of business particularly, that becomes part of the journey, because that becomes how we have to build this, right? It's 8 o'clock at night on a Sunday night. My kids are relaxing and getting ready for the week. My husband is relaxing and getting ready for the week. And I am here with you. I am building the empire while my family gets ready for bed. Oftentimes I'm sitting right at that desk into the wee hours of the night because I also work a 9-to-5 job. And that's how I have to do it. I have to build the empire while my family sleeps. Motivation comes from here and here alone. It does not come from those that are cheering me on. Because you know what? Oftentimes, just like in the dead of the night, it's real quiet. Or worse, it's people telling me they don't understand what I'm doing. When I decided to launch this page to reach more people as part of my bigger purpose, even bigger than Scentsy, I was told by those I love the most that they didn't understand what I was doing or why I would take another thing on, or worried about I had too much on my plate already. But this is something that I'm doing for me. My place to speak to those that need to hear it. my place to pour out, my outlet, my place to tell my stories, because there's more than one story that makes up your life. My place to inspire hope in others. And so if I waited for the approval of others, even those that I love the most, if I waited for the understanding for people, my peers, to understand what the hell I was doing, I would never act. You will never act waiting on the approval of others. Don't do it. The graveyard is the richest place in the world because it is where dreams and million-dollar ideas have gone to die. Literally die with the people who carried them. Dreams that people carried throughout their whole life that they never went through because something brought them down. When you were a little kid, when you were a little girl, when you were a little boy, and you were dreaming big about what you wanted to be, I bet you never thought twice about it when somebody asked you when you were in grade school and they said, what is it you want to be when you grow up? Do you know recently, last year, my son was a first grader, and they asked him what he wanted to be when he grew up, and do you know what he said? He said he wanted to be a dinosaur. A dinosaur. And I'm going to tell you something, nobody's going to tell my 6-year-old he ain't going to be a dinosaur because he believes he's going to be a dinosaur. You need to go into your adult life with that same tenacity so you don't live a life of regret. Anything is possible. If you're willing to believe first that it is, if you're willing to believe that you have the power to figure it out, you have the power to make that happen for yourself, whatever that thing is. And then you're willing to take the steps. That's a key word, willing to take the steps to go after that dream, to work towards it, to put in the hours, piece by piece. And you're willing to take the bricks that other people throw at you and build your bridge to get to where you need to be. That is the answer. That is how we do it, my friends. You can't hold on to trauma. You can't hold on to pain. You can't hold on to disappointment. 90% of those things that cause us trauma and pain aren't things, they are people. And those that are closest to us or those that are meant to protect us, those are the things that are going to hurt us the most. But it's human nature to be flawed. It's human nature to make mistakes. And you can't go through life holding on to what other people did to you or didn't do for you or didn't help you. Because it's not going to be one person. You're going to be disappointed a lot. And I'm willing to bet that the closer you allow yourself to get to people, the more you're going to be hurt. Right? Speaking from experience, and I know a lot of you are out there too, and you've probably dealt with the same thing. I was hurt the most by the one person that was put on this earth to protect me. The person that was put on this earth to protect me was the first person to fail me. And fail me, and fail me, and fail me. And eventually, I had to put up a wall to protect myself, to separate myself. I had to cut off that relationship to protect myself. It was self-preservation. It was right before I was getting married. And I had a rocky relationship with my mother for years before this. And I had given that relationship up. And just before I was getting married, I thought I'd have regrets if I didn't have this relationship with her, and I didn't try to fix it. So I tried. And it was very clear that she was going to bring her toxic shit into my marriage and into this relationship, into this love that I found. And I would cry. I would cry and cry and cry. And I would pray to God to please tell me what to do and to please protect me, because I didn't think at that point that I was strong enough to protect myself. But I had this point in my life where it was this fork in the road. It was this decision that I had to make at that point of what I was willing to do to let go of all of these expectations that I had for support and love from this person that should have been there to love and protect me. And I had to let go of that in order to protect this life that I was going to build with this man that I loved, that I knew I would have babies with, and we would build a home together. And I had to think about, I had to think about the life that I was going to build for those babies one day and what I needed to protect them from and who I needed to protect them from. And so I needed to cut that relationship off. And I did. I successfully cut that relationship off. I use the word success very, very carefully. And my mom died last year. Right before we went to Disney on an incentive trip. And I remember my sister calling and telling me that she died and that she passed. And I didn't feel regret for the choices that I needed to make to protect myself, but what I did feel and continue to feel is sorrow for the life that she lived. Sadness for the life and the heartache that she had. Because being a mother myself, I know that there's no way she could possibly have done that intentionally. That it really was the mental illness that stopped her from being the mother that she needed to be for me. So I grieve her life. I grieve the life that she had. I grieve the disappointment of a relationship that I didn't have. The support that I would never get from her. But I often think now, as she is passed on, and I am someone that believes a lot in faith. I have a strong faith. I am a spiritual person that does believe in a higher power and a life after death. So I believe that the only chance that she had at a pain-free life was to pass on. So I choose to believe now that she watches over and sees what I was able to build despite the upbringing. What I was able to take that was the hardest pain and turn it into my power. Because my childhood and my upbringing is the reason I work so hard. Never wanting my kids to do without is the reason I work so hard. It's the reason I work a 9 to 5 and then build a 5 to faint empire. And why I work so hard to make sure that my home is what it is and that I'm providing for my children in ways that I wasn't provided. I often look at it like, I hope I'm making her proud. I even chose tonight's mug. Look, Ma, I made it. Because look, here's the thing. At the end of the day, you're only given one life. You cannot control what happens to you and who disappoints you. Be it your parents, your spouse, your sister, whoever, your best friend, your business partner. People are going to disappoint you. People are human. You don't need to let every person that's hurt you or disappoint you have access to your life. You can give forgiveness without giving access. That you need to hone in really, really deeply on what it is that you need inside of you to get up and chase those dreams every single day. Because it has to come from you. Your motivation, your acceptance of whatever dream it is you are chasing, of whatever your next goal is, has to start, begin, and end with you. Anybody else out there that supports you, that's extra. It is really difficult in a business, especially when you're starting out something like this, where you are told to make a list of everybody that you know, those that are most likely to help you succeed. And I know some of those papers are pretty blank. If you're counting on those that you know that you're closest to, your family and your friends, to build and support your empire, you're already setting yourself up for failure. If you have that, great. But don't let not having that stop you from going after your dreams. The world is full of strangers who want to see you win. So even if those you love most don't wait on them. Don't wait on them. Go find the strangers that you can build a table with that will help you succeed in ways that you can't even imagine right now. And if along the way you change the mind of those that are naysayers in your life and you gather their support later, by all means, wonderful. But never look back looking for that. Keep your eyes forward. Keep pushing on. Make sure that when you lay your head down at night, you know that you did your best, that you left this world just a little bit brighter than it was when you woke up. And that at the end of the day, you make yourself proud. You make yourself proud. Because even in my moments of grief, even in my moments of hoping that my mom looks down on me and is proud of what I built, it's really more about me being proud of what I built despite of not having the support. And even when I started this business, it wasn't even my family that supported me initially. My first customer was one of my husband's second or third cousins, purchased off my website. That was my first customer. My husband's family supported me before my own did. Now, my sister's a different story. She's a big, big supporter of mine. She doesn't always understand what I'm doing, but she supports it all the time. And my family has come around to support too. And support doesn't always look like financial contributions, by the way. Right? You know what I'm talking about. It doesn't always mean that they're financially supporting everything that you're doing by being your biggest customer. Sometimes support means just checking in. Hey, how you doing? Hey, I haven't seen you post in a little bit. Are you okay? How's that going? Are you having fun? Do you love it? Support is not, what's your backup plan? Did that run its course yet? Ooh, Scentsy's not doing so good. So maybe it's time to focus on a real job. That's not support. That's toxic. And whether they think they're being supportive or not, they're trying to help give you advice to help you make smart choices. Please. I'm going to tell you one more thing before I end tonight. Although, if you followed me for a while and you followed me on other platforms, you know that usually means there's 3 or 4 more things probably going to come. But I'm going to tell you that if you are around my age, you grew up in a time where college was pushed. A 4-year degree is necessary. You have to go to school. You have to get a 4-year degree. You have to get a job with benefits. You have to get a job with a 401k and profit sharing. You know how many of those jobs I've held? Do you know how many of those jobs are so quick to turn their back on you? They'll replace you. They'll have your job description posted before your obituary. Most corporate America jobs, those ones with the benefit plan and the 401k, they don't care. They don't genuinely care about your well-being. Not at all. But the business you can build, the one you can choose, the one you can vet the people that come in, that sit at your table, the ones that you decide who you're offering the opportunity to, the ones that you feed when they're hungry, When you pour your blood, sweat, and tears into something, you can absolutely determine the outcome of it. You are not replaceable if it's only you. You are the one that will determine whether or not you eat next month by how hard you're willing to work. You can determine whether or not you're going to hustle your booty off and you're going to get yourself a 10% increase this month over last month. I asked my children not to scream while I was on this, so I apologize. But the thing is that you are in the driver's seat of this, and you don't need anybody else to hand you the keys. You don't have to wait on someone else to see your value, to get up and do more. There is a world of training out there for you in whatever field you're in whatever place in your business that you want to grow. You just got to do a little research. You got to pull up your bootstraps and you got to get to work. But there's no one stopping you but you. But on the flip side of that, there's also no one coming for you either. There is going to be no one that's going to tell you what you need to do or how to do it or ask you if you're getting it done. It's you or you. And you could lie to those that you're doing business with, your upline, all day long. You could tell them you're doing all the things to be successful in your business. Numbers don't lie. And when I say that, I don't say that to be harsh. I say that to be honest. Numbers don't lie. Because the numbers will tell you that you're not doing everything you could possibly do. And by that I mean that if what you're doing isn't working, then do something else. But that motivation needs to come from you and you alone. I can't want it any more for my team than they want it for themselves. I can't. I can't want it any more for the people that I sponsor, those that I see potential in. I can tell you right now that if I could get to the top level of this company, so can you. So can you. There is nothing special about me other than the fact that I have a fight or flight mentality, and it's going to be me or me. It's going to be me or me. And I'm not waiting for the approval of my husband, of my family, of my friends, of my customers. I'm not waiting for the approval of anybody before I'm going to go after my dreams. Because at the end of the day, nobody's coming to put food on my table. Nobody's coming to make sure that I have the best coffee. I want those things. I have to go after them myself. I have to build those things. And I have to build them knowing that I can, knowing that I'm possible, knowing that I'm worthy, knowing that no amount of failure, bricks thrown at me, heartache, trauma, or pain will ever make me less than, will ever make me less worthy than anyone else. It just might mean I have to fight differently, that I have to fight a little bit harder than the person next to me. But you know what? That's a gift, because that's going to make me appreciate it more, and it's going to make me want it more, and it's going to make me hold on to it more. Because at the end of the day, I have everything to lose because I have myself to disappoint. I don't need to worry about disappointing anybody else because I'm not waiting for anybody else's approval. I'm not waiting for anybody else to tell me to get started. And I'm not out here trying to prove anyone wrong. I don't care. Watch me, don't. Support me, don't. Buy from me, don't. Tell me good job or don't. What I need is to know that I'm a badass woman and that I'm going to do for me and mine every single day. And so the hell are you. So tonight is Sunday night. The reason I picked to do these on Sunday nights is so that you have a little bit of motivation as you go into your next week. that you know that you have everything that you need, every tool at your disposal, and everything in your being to be able to do what you need to do to chase your dreams, whatever they are. Don't let anyone tell you that you can't. And if they do, they're not your people. I don't care if it's blood. I don't care if it's friends. I don't care who it is. If they tell you you can't, they're not your people. Walk away and build another table. You owe it to yourself.